Rescue, go.
Engineer, now.
Sergeant Master envelope.
Instruments.
Captain check set, go.
Engineer, now check set warning lights.
Coast check.
Engineer, check out. Fire clear.
Set.
My name is I'm from Sydney, Insarag, Australia. I'm here as the rescue supervisor. I'll be assessing the rescue component of the Smart team, New South Wales.
Hello, I'm John Ball from the UK. I'm here representing the IRO, which is the International Rescue Dog Organisation based in Austria, and I'm here to act as a classifier for the search operations of the IEC.
Good evening. We are the delegation from Chile. My name is Sebastian. My name is Patricio. My name is Mauricio. And we are very happy to be here as part of the international observers for the classification of the Malaysian Heavy Smart team. Hi Malaysia. Hi Malaysia.
Hi, very happy to be here.
Okay, I'm Captain Manelli from Jordan, from the Jordan Search and Rescue team. I'm coming to the Malaysian Smart IEC for mission as a military classifier and hello mission.
Hello, Steve Smith from Australia USAR Team 1, here for the occasion of Smart Malaysia USAR Team. Hello Malaysia.
Corey Dennis, also from Australia, AUS 1. Hello Malaysia. Welcome.
Okay, my name is Peter Wolf, coming from Germany, and I'm as a classifier rescue here in Malaysia. That's several times I was already in Malaysia, so I'm really looking forward, and welcome Malaysia.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Engineer Major Muhammad Al-Shahrani. I am from Saudi Arabia, SASAR team, Search and Rescue team from Saudi Arabia. I'm coming here like classifier in training, and welcome to Malaysia, and I am going to say hello for Malaysia. Thank you.
Kia ora. My name is Paul Burns. I come from Christchurch, New Zealand, and I'm one of the classifiers for the Smart Malaysian USAR team, and I'm looking forward to the week here.
My name's Ravi Supanmit Wisetkun. I come from DDPM Thailand with my expert of my department. We are come from with the Rom Katanyu Foundation from Thailand, and now we joining with the observation of the IEC of Malaysia. We hope to see some technique and exchange with the information with other team and other country.
Nice to meet you. My name is Kaura Somsakul Lungrung, General Secretary from Rom Katanyu Foundation Rescue Team Thailand, and my colleague, altogether 5 persons, we joined within IEC Smart in Malaysia, Putrajaya today, and we hope we can learn more knowledge from you and more expert exchange together. Thank you so much.
Hello, good morning. My name is Petriana. I'm the chairman of Jakarta Rescue, and I'm the team leader of this group. With me, I bring along my president director, Mr. Hadianto, and then my General Secretary, Mr. Bayu Cahyadi, my Director of Operational, Dr. Priyambodo, and then my Director of Planning and Development, Mr. Wahyudi, and lastly, Mr. Panji as the head of the Director of the Logistics. So we are here to attend the Insarag external classification of the Smart Team Malaysia for having the heavy class classified. Hopefully that Smart Malaysia can have it, and good luck for you. Success.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. My name is Fabian Pan. I'm from COSAM Safety and Security Private Limited, and it is really an honor for me to be able to come and observe the Malaysian IEC, and I would like to wish them all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dato' Zaitun, colleagues, friends from around the region, many of you I've known for 10 years or so. It is a tremendous pleasure to be here today. For those classifiers and others observers who've come from beyond the region, you may or may not know that in the last 10 years, some of the world's worst disasters have happened in Asia and the Pacific. It's only 12 years ago now that 250,000 people sadly lost their lives as a result of the Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. But time and time again, we've seen Insarag teams, regional countries and partners come to the support and aid of countries when they need it most. Most recently, in Nepal, the SMART team deployed and were of enormous utility and assistance to our operations, supporting both the RDC and the OSOC. But I have had the great privilege of serving with Malaysian teams in Hainan, in Indonesia, in other parts of the Philippines and elsewhere. And I think it's fair to say that Malaysia has always been one of the more responsive and helpful partners within this region. They are a strong supporter and strong part of ASEAN, which is a growing regional capacity in the region, which supports a nationally led response from a regional platform. And increasingly, the assistance required from the international community is less and less as countries within the region build their capacity. But Malaysia's always stood up to the plate. It's always turned up to help and to assist. And it's frankly seeking to build now on that significant contribution as we arrive here at the SMART IEC. It's quite tempting to think that getting off a plane from Bangkok this morning, I'm arriving to see a team go through a classification and not much else is happening. The reality is, from all levels of government, from the very highest level, down to the Dato', and down to the technical operators, there has been a tremendous amount of preparation and hard work involved in getting us all where we are today and will be over the next couple of days. I'd like to recognise the extraordinary commitment of the Government of Malaysia and indeed all relevant departments in bringing us to where we are now, both staff currently serving and past, who I see in the room, who made a significant contribution. I'd certainly like to thank, if I may, Singapore, the Singapore Civil Defence Force, for their extraordinary support in providing mentors to the SMART team and in guiding them over the quite difficult process of the last couple of years. and I think that without your support, it would have been a very difficult process. So I think significant thanks are due there. I'd obviously like to thank the very diverse and highly talented classification team, which has come in from more than 8 countries, or from 8 countries, not more than. Insarag is a family, and without their support and peer review, it would be nothing. So to have them here, working with their colleagues and supporting the classification is extraordinary. I was recently travelling with the Deputy Secretary General, who has a line that he likes to use. We were in Nepal meeting earthquake-affected populations. And his line is that nobody can do everything. Nobody can do everything, but everybody has to do something. And I think looking around the room today, I see a lot of people who are doing more than just something, who are really contributing to relieving human suffering in this region and beyond. And you deserve applause. From what I've seen today, and I think it's very dangerous to second-guess outcomes, I've seen an enormous amount of drive, and I've seen real commitment shown by the SMART team and by their managers. I've seen the sort of team that I would very much like to see in the field when I next deploy. And come Friday, I very much hope, I expect, that the SMART team will be the second team within ASEAN. That said, nothing is for sure, and I give the team my very best wishes and hopes of success. Well done.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good evening. Thank you, our Master of Ceremony, our 2 deputies, Mr. Zainal Azman and Mr. Muhammad Arif, Deputy Director General of NATMA Malaysia, Mr. Sebastian Roots Stampa, Deputy Head, OCHA Regional Office of the Asia Pacific Region, Mr. Winston Chang. I hope I pronounce it right, because Chang would be with an E, right? Okay. Mr. Winston Chang, representative from the United Nations Office, or OCHA, UN OCHA Geneva. Mr. Stephen Smith, Insarag Snow Classification Team Leader. Mr. Kadir Maidin Muhammad, our Sifu, Iec-Smart mentor from the Singapore Civil Defence Force, heads of departments, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, it is with great pleasure for me to welcome all classifiers and observers to Putrajaya, Malaysia. On behalf of the National Disaster Management Agency, or NATMA Malaysia, we are deeply honored by your presence and support for this historic chapter in our country's disaster management landscape. After a lengthy and arduous process, the Special Malaysian Disaster Assistance and Rescue Team, or SMART, under the My Team Relief branding, is finally undergoing the Insarag external classification, the IEC, and if successful, will put us into the fraternity of highly recognized, specialized urban search and rescue teams from around the world. NATMA Malaysia is indeed proud to host this exercise, and I would like to take this opportunity to record our appreciation to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, or UN OCHA, for their support in organizing this event. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Southeast Asia is a region that is most prone to natural disasters than those in other parts of the world. But we in Malaysia have always pride ourselves as being in a disaster-free zone, except for the annual floods that we experience every year. But then, for the past few years, we find that that is no longer true. Because there are other disasters that has been fallen or occurred in Malaysia which we never faced before. Therefore, we are now really part of Southeast Asia in terms of disaster. The increasing frequency and intensity of disasters in this region due to population growth, unplanned urbanization, environmental degradation, climate change, combined with geological, hydrometeorological, and man-made hazards, not only threaten to roll back hard-earned development gains, but also the well-being of the people. Each disaster is a profound reminder of the need for us to be better prepared. And the key word here is preparedness. Most recently, the world was shocked and saddened by the devastating earthquake which struck Kumamoto, Japan on the 14th of April this year, which left more than 800 people injured and thousands more affected and homeless. 2 days later, another major earthquake struck Ecuador on the 16th of May and triggering, I think my calculation is wrong here. 14th of April, Kumamoto. 16th of May, Ecuador. And just a week ago, a few days ago, we were alerted by our Ministry of Foreign Affairs that there is a massive flood in Sri Lanka, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, even though we do not send our SMART team this time, but for both Ecuador and Sri Lanka, we give aid in terms of financial assistance. And Malaysia itself, although by reason of its location, has always been considered less vulnerable, but we need to review this. Following the earthquake in Ranau of 5.9 magnitude, 5th of June this year, or last year, which took the lives of 18 mountain climbers on Mount Kinabalu. And we also have, is also experiencing and had experienced tremors of about 3.0. Last year we had, or 2 years ago, 2014, we had earthquake of about 4.0 and 5.8 in Kunat, Sabah, North Borneo. And last month we experienced tremors of about 3.0, 3 point something earthquake in Lahad Datu. And we are prepared for the worst, because the last time we had a major earthquake in Lahad Datu was like 30 years ago. And there is a projection that say there might be, these tremors might be the prelude to a much bigger one, and we have already prepared for it, where we had an exercise that involves 300 people from the rescue, the SAR teams, and also the population, and also from other agencies that give that are involved whenever disasters happen. So we are prepared for this, but I'm sure when disaster happens, nobody is truly prepared, because we don't know the magnitude, we don't know when it's going to occur, and we don't know who is going to affect. So like we say, disaster does not recognize color, race, religion. It can come, and anybody that's in their path will in its path will be affected. Given the stark reality of living in disaster-prone areas, building the capacity of countries to respond effectively to disasters, particularly earthquakes, it is imperative to improve the livelihood of the people and making them resilient, independent, and able to protect themselves in cases of disasters. In this regard, international committees such as Insarag, with a network of more than 80 countries and organizations, continue to play a critical role in facilitating coordination between the various international USAR teams in responding to disasters. And we are really, as in ASEAN, under the AHA organization, we have what we call the tagline, One ASEAN, One Response. And this, I'm sure, will put us more in preparedness, because we have the different countries coming together to help in case something really happened. It's good to know we have friends around us. Okay, in Malaysia, the SMART team is our elite troop dedicated for search and rescue effort in an emergency situation and disaster. In this regard, our mission is to save lives, which is in line with the mandate of Insarag. And as the tagline of NATMA, saving lives, managing disasters, saving lives. As a responsible member of the global community, SMART is also committed to render humanitarian assistance to our friends and countries in need. To date, SMART has been deployed to 13 overseas missions since its establishment on the 1st of August 1995. The most recent being was to Nepal, following the devastating earthquake in April 2015. Throughout our involvement in the humanitarian landscape, I am confident that SMART has demonstrated its worth as an international USAR team, has shown great courage and compassion, and has established excellent cooperation with teams from other nations. In line with the 2013 ASEAN Declaration on Enhancing Cooperation in Disaster Management, classification of SMART Malaysia will highlight the critical role to be played by NATMA Malaysia with the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance or on Disaster Management, or the AHA Center. We would like to be the operational arm of ATMA in coordinating ASEAN's collective response. This classification will also be the precursor to the ASEAN strategy on One ASEAN, One Response 2020 and beyond. ASEAN responding to disasters as one. Essentially, this is ASEAN's strategy to build on the collective strength of ASEAN member states as they come together when a national disaster hits the region. Before I close, allow me to take this opportunity to again thank the United Nations Office for the Coordination on Humanitarian Affairs for their strong commitment and support for this event, as well as to the classifiers and observers. It is my hope that IEC will go smoothly and that all of us here will have a pleasant experience throughout. I also wish to record our appreciation to our Sifu, Mr. Kadimaidin from Singapore, who has been with us through and through. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is not a formal night. We are supposed to let our hair down, dine, listen to good music, enjoy some of the traditional dances, and some of you will be asked or will be invited to come up here and to learn some of the steps. So, sit back, relax, have fun. Thank you very much.
And next that I call please stand up. First and foremost, Mr. Winston Chang, Insarag Secretariat, Field Coordinator, Support Section and Service Branch OCHA. Mr. Sebastian Rostempa, Deputy Head OCHA Regional Office. Alright, please be on stage as well. Introducing our IEC team leader, Mr. Stephen Smith, Assistant Commissioner, Australia. IEC Deputy Team Leader, Mr. Paul Burns, USAR Team Leader, New Zealand. Mr. Amjad Al-Huniti, Medical Liaison Officer, Jordan. Mr. John Stokes, USAR Team Member, Australia. Mr. Mohammed Al-Shahrani, Planning Officer, Saudi Arabia. Mr. David Taylor, United States of America. Mr. John Ball, Deputy Spokesperson for Deployment, United Kingdom. Mr. Peter Wolf, Pacifier Rescue, Germany. And last but not least, our Sifu, Colonel Kadir Maidin bin Mohammed, Director, Singapore. Thank you, gentlemen. Please be on stage.
we've worked over the last couple of days, observed a lot, asked a lot of questions, and we are of a unanimous view of the outcome. And I suppose that recommendation is to FCSS is that you are classified as a heavy team. So congratulations. That is look, I've got a couple of points I'll make before we get into some of the detail. I'm certainly very appreciative of the openness and the cooperation that the team has provided right through this process, and particularly in the last few days. Ex-Con have been super cooperative in getting things done, answering questions and supporting us as we need things changed at times. And that's made our job a great deal easier and required a little bit of patience on our behalf too, so thank you. With that as a basis, then you're only going to go from strength to strength, so I think that's a great foundation to be starting from. One point I wanted to make too was the fact that Ex-Con is being run in Malaysia by the Smart team is a really powerful tool now. That's a great skill to have in your team and to continue to develop in your team. And the reason for that is that it creates sustainability for you as a team, and you get to challenge and learn as you go along and develop your own people. So that's a really good thing. Like all teams, there are good aspects, many good aspects, but there's also some areas of improvement which we'll talk through. Because USAR is a constantly evolving capability, so you need to continue to evolve and evaluate things and integrate them into your team and learn from others and share shared experience, and that's part of the Insarag community and what we do. So the report and the checklist will provide a more comprehensive detail provided, so that will be provided through FCSS over the next few weeks as it's finalised, and that will provide the detail. Here, the idea now is really just to provide some high-level points across those areas, and I suppose we'll just jump through and go through with each area. If you'd like to start, Paul.
Thank you very much. So, first of all, thanks for the opportunity to come to the Malaysia IEC, Smart IEC. It's a privilege to be here. So one of my jobs as a deputy was to look at management and other aspects, and Steve has stolen most of my thunder, but I'll just go through a few points if I may. So to peer review the management side is quite easy. How I found it, this IEC showed that the Malaysia Smart team has very strong leadership and gives clear direction to the team. The team is very well disciplined and well controlled. Your documentation in the OSOP and command team was excellent, and it showed a clear understanding of the command principles and the Insarag methodology. That is very good. To ensure the strong leadership style is embedded into the Smart team, we would encourage future leaders to attend Insarag exercises, courses, and participate wherever possible in Insarag activities. This would build confidence in your young members coming through the team for future development. Also on Ex-Con, thank you, you did a fantastic job, and I think we need to acknowledge the great job you did, as Steve quite rightly said. And that does bode well for the future. If you can run your own exercises to that standard, then you're in very, very good hands. I think also we need to acknowledge too that for an IEC, everyone comes under a lot of pressure, and you handle the pressure very, very well. So I'm sure your team was quite relieved that the exercise is over, but well done. It's very hard when you have people peer reviewing or looking at you. And I think we need to acknowledge that fact that is a very good job. As Steve said, there'll be areas in the report that will give you some hints where you might be able to make some slight improvements or recommendations. But I think the main thing I would say from a management point of view is the young ones coming through is the confidence that they can gain from this, and that puts them in a very strong position. So just encourage them to learn 10 courses and you've got a very, very sound footing from a management perspective. Thank you.
John, do you want to?
Yes, sir. Okay, so I was obviously the rescue classifier, so I've got all my components to talk about. there's a lot more detail that's been reported again, but I'll speak generally about the different components. So to start off, the rescue operations went really smoothly overall. It was fairly evident that the rescue operators themselves on all the piles were very confident. They knew the tools, they knew the techniques very well. And the rescue sites themselves were maintained to a high standard. The tools went back to the site, back to the logistics tents, etc. So it was a nice, clean, safe environment for them. As far as the PPE and their safety, their PPE was excellent, and that was, everybody mentioned that. They used it appropriate to the tasks and things that they were using, that they were doing, and it was high quality. They wore it when they needed to wear it. The fatigue management through rotation, so the shift patterns, things like that, so people weren't getting too tired. I think we tended to notice when they started to get a bit tired, the crews changed pretty much within half an hour of that, so they knew when they were starting to get tired, and then within the teams they were actually swapping around when they needed to. Marking systems, so the new Insarag marking systems and things like that, everybody was applying that correctly. There was a few little things, but nothing. They were actually doing the correct markings. It was just timings of when they were putting things down on certain points, but overall it was really good. I think that was one of the comments that were made as well, that they're applying it correctly, doing the correct things to apply those in the right context. Concrete cutting, all of the concrete cutting and breaching was technically well done. It was applied correctly and things like that safely. An opportunity for improvement within that, but probably generically throughout the whole of the rescue discipline would be to have some simultaneous sort of things happening. So think 2 or 3 steps ahead, as opposed to, okay, I'll finish that now, bring something else in. So sort of step through, so have the rest of the team getting things, so it's bang, 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 as opposed to stop and then go to the next thing. So that would be, going forward, that would be a good development opportunity. The metal cutting, the operators displayed proficiency within that, both with the beam cutting and with the metal plate. The one thing that we did bring up with that is the actual tooling that was taken and supplied for that is not able to be independently ran by the team. So obviously you had the vehicle come in, generator to run it, because of the power supply issue. And when we questioned, the team said that they would get that locally. However, the tool is a fairly specific tool. Obviously, it's a Malaysian style plug, things like that. Not getting into the nitty-gritty of it all, but if they came to Australia, as an example, they wouldn't be able to plug into one of our power supplies. So that was probably probably the one major thing I would say with the rescue thing, but it's not a big deal. They're very good, and either the recommendation would be to either take a generator to run that, or to maybe look at a different option. The road work, very good. The quality of the equipment was high-end equipment, very good, and they all knew their knots. They all knew what they were doing. It was very evident that they were doing that correctly. Shoring, again, really good. There was lots of comments from individual classifiers, the nail patterns. They knew exactly what they were doing, and when questioned about why they were doing things, they had the background knowledge on why they were doing things as well. Overall, yeah, it was a high level of rescue skill displayed, and obviously the team supported well with high quality equipment. So from a rescue point of view, I'm very happy.
Yeah. So I was looking at the search component of the operations, and I'll split it between the dog handlers and the rescuers. With the handlers, they showed great enthusiasm and willingness to learn. I was chatting to them about different techniques and that, and they were willing to take on board some of the ideas I put forward. The canines themselves showed good agility and dexterity on the rubble pile. However, there was a lot of reliance upon the handlers on the searches and that. So I spoke about perhaps doing a bit more independent workings, because in the USAR environment, it may be that you can't have the handler on the pile because it's considered unsafe. So if the dogs can sort of develop, or the handlers in conjunction with their dogs can develop an independent working, that would be good. And to do that would be to maybe train with other areas, other rescue sites. And so I'd certainly encourage that. With the technical search details of the rescuers. They all showed efficient use of the equipment. However, I'd say that to do cross-training with the dog handlers and the rescue workers, so you use those tools of dogs and technical search in combination with each other. Because sometimes, like the dog's a detector, and then the tools are the locators. So getting that in the right conjunction would be very good. So I certainly encourage that. And then utilising the dogs more throughout the rescue phase. Once you've actually extracted someone from a void, maybe then recommit the dogs just to confirm that there is nobody else there. So you can utilise the dogs more. And also, I know we've restricted with timings on the scenario through the exercise, but also in hot climate, rather than sort of use them in the day, if we can sort of look at using the dogs in the cooler hours, that will prolong the working time that they can use the dogs for.
Okay. My first comments were for a group that had such a large mandate area of responsibility, because logistics is encompasses from the tools and everything else, and then you get into the movement of the team, you're getting into taking care of the team while they're on the mission, setting up the camp and everything, and then the responsibility of getting the team home. It's a very large amount of work, and it covers a lot of different areas. And my first comment is this is a very hard-working group with a lot of pride, a lot of commitment. Spent a lot of time. I asked a lot of questions. They gave me some very good feedback, and very knowledgeable in what they do. And like I said, they were very committed to supporting the team, making sure they had what they needed, all throughout the exercise, which I thought was very strong. The stores and the equipment storage and the loading was all very organized. Everything was just, everything had a plan. We watched the plan, we watched the movement, getting out to moving the team and everything, very well organized. Getting to the base of operations, very fast, efficient in getting the camp set up. That was a lot of comments, a lot of positive comments from different people on how they put the camp up, and and how quickly it happened, and how the main components were set up and functional very quickly. Because there's things that need to happen right away when you set up a base of operations. Those happen very quickly, very efficiently, all during the exercise. The equipment use, the accountability, they knew, and several times I asked them, about where the equipment was. They knew exactly where it was in all the different work sites. Down at the work sites, the equipment, the accountability, where it was, getting it fixed, getting a replacement or something like that, calling for a piece of equipment if they needed it, was very well organized. We just noticed a few little areas of that need some additional. Mostly it's a little training, little improvement. One of the things that was the dangerous goods forms and the box packaging, that just needs a little additional training, and it's there. They just need to do a little more as in terms of getting like the boxes packaged and properly marked and stuff. The team is very well set up to fly military. When you go commercial, those are some little additional aspects that you need. They have to be just right, because those are worldwide standards that everybody has to adapt to when they fly commercially. Okay. The cache list, the equipment list, could be a little more comprehensive. So they had all the components in different lists, but it would they would need to have it more just in one general database cache list, to where they could have all the mechanisms of what they needed. In other words, the list of equipment, what function it belonged to, the dimensions of it, the value of it, recording the different serial numbers for like the technical equipment and stuff like that. But it was there, just in different places. It needs to be brought into more of a comprehensive. And then the other little small item was just the management of like the wastewater in the camp. Okay, That's a key area, and there was a lot of discussion. We talked about it during the exercise, but one thing is to maybe look at the equipment list to see if there's a few more items that you could add to the list to help manage, such as the wastewater, the gray, like gray bladder, that item. So that's really just small areas of improvement. Like I said, logistics has a very large mandate in the operation of a team. They have a lot of areas that they're responsible for, and I think that they have a very strong foundation, very good foundation, okay? Just a few minor tweaks, and I'm very pleased with what I saw.
Minister in the Prime Minister Department of Malaysia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good evening, selamat petang kepada saudara sekalian. Saudara pengacara majlis yang berbahagia, Datuk Zaitun, Director General of NATMA Malaysia, Mr. Winston Chang, representative from the United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, UN OCHA, Mr. Stephen Smith, Insarag External Classification Team Leader, Mr. Teo Hao Hoa, representative from the Singapore Civil Defence Force, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Seri Nur Rashid Ibrahim, Deputy Inspector General of Police Malaysia, Yang Berbahagia Admiral Maritime Datuk Haji Ahmad Fauzi, Abdul Kahar, Director General of Malaysia Maritime Enforcement Department, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Zahari Alias, Deputy Secretary National Security Council, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Abu Salim Omar, Director General of Civil Defence Force, Datuk Cik Gaya Ismail, Director General Malaysia Meteorological Department, Datuk Nik Ali Mat Yunus, Deputy Chief Secretary Ministry of Higher Education, former NADMA Chief, Mr. Jeffrey Abdul Hamid, Program Director Jern Sapura Secure Technology, Head Departments, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to be joining all of you this evening to officiate the announcement dinner of Insarag External Classification of Smart Malaysia 2016. NASA in the middle of South Asia, region highly susceptible to disasters like earthquake, tsunamis, typhoon and flood. One cannot underscore the importance for Malaysia to intensify our efforts in preparing ourselves to respond to and minimize the impact of disasters on our people and economy. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in 2005, I never used this song for quite some time, so it's doubling up now. In 2005, the Insarag network supported the establishment of independently verifiable standard for international urban search and rescue (USAR) teams. The Insarag External Classification (IEC) system provides a global and strategic approach to ensure that well-qualified and professional teams, including NGO teams, are ready to respond at a moment's notice and operate under globally accepted operational standards. I am pleased to note that since the establishment of SMART team in 1995, they have been the operational arm of the government of Malaysia, playing a critical role in responding to disaster, not only internally but also at international level. SMART Malaysia was involved in, among others, search and rescue mission tsunami victim in Aceh 2004, Muzaffarabad quake in Pakistan 2005, landslide in Leyte, the Philippines 2006, Giant supermarket collapse 2009, mission disaster management following the crash of Malaysia Airlines flight MS-17 in Ukraine 2014, and mission of search and rescue at Mount Kinabalu after Sabah earthquake 2015. In addition, the SMART teams has also been actively involved in various Insarag exercises and meetings such as the Insarag earthquake exercise and Operation Working Group meeting, which contribute significantly enhancing the team capability in line with the requirements of Insarag guidelines. The journey towards the IEC for the SMART team has begun since the year 2013. The Singapore Civil Defence Force was the team's mentor, providing advice on both the management and technical aspects. On behalf of the Government of Malaysia, I would like to express our utmost gratitude to the Government of Singapore for their strong support to Malaysia towards this classification process. Thank you very much. I hope this will not be the end of our strategic collaboration. Much still needs to be done, and the IEC is the first step towards professionalizing Malaysian International Search and Rescue Agency. Lots of improvements still needs to be done after this classification to ensure the SMART team will continue to remain relevant and at par with current demand and needs of urban search and rescue. For this, we cherish and the existing cooperation and collaboration we have had with SCDF all these years. It is my wish that it will continue in the future. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the United Nations Office for the coordination on humanitarian affairs, UN OCHA, for the strong support and full commitment throughout the SMART team's IEC process, as well as the classifiers for their hard work in evaluating and certifying the SMART team, and also to the observers for the present. My sincere appreciation also goes to all of the representatives of ministries, federal and state government, including national observers who are here tonight. Your presence is a reflection of the strong bond we have. It has deliberately contributed to the success in the Iec-Smart. This will also set another milestone in our quest towards a better prepared USAR team, not only at the national level, but also at the state level. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before I close, credit should be given where credit is due. A lot of preparation, hard work, and sweat went through in order to realize the SMART Insarag external classification. Starting from the application process to the Insarag Secretariat, the appointment of SCDF as our mentor, documentation process, capacity building, exercise planning, and all the way to IEC classification day from 31st May 2016 until today. I would like to register Malaysia appreciation and sincere thanks to Mr. Vincent Chan from UN OCHA and the classifier team led by Mr. Stephen Smith from the steadfast commitment they have shown to the IEC, and we owe it to team for making the SMART team and Insarag classified team, making us the second such team after Singapore in South Asia and the fifth in East Asia. To the international observers, thank you for showing your support for this event, for which without your participation, commitment, and contribution, this exercise will not have turned out well. Malaysia is deeply honored that because of the overwhelming response we received, the SMART IEC recorded a large participation, thus making this a meaningful and comprehensive exercise. One should also not forget that the success of the exercise is due to the cooperation of various government ministries and agencies, private sector and NGOs, to Jabatan Bombak dan Penyelamat Malaysia, Angkatan Tentera, Universiti Putra Malaysia, Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia, JPAM, now APM, or Malaysia Civil Defence Force, MCDF, the media and many more. We are very grateful for your contribution. Finally, I hope that all of you here has a pleasant stay here in Putrajaya and manage to take the opportunity to sample the sights and the attractions that we have to offer, including the local foods and delicacy. Pada rakyat Malaysia semua, saya ucap tahniah kepada penjaga. We are very proud of you. Kita berbangga mempunyai SMART team Malaysia. Semoga Allah memberkati, dan sekarang ini kita sudah mampu untuk pergi ke semua peringkat. Walaupun sebelum ini kita sudah pun pergi ke peringkat antarabangsa, tetapi kali ini kita pergi dengan sertifikat, dengan license untuk membantu pemerintah Malaysia. Saya tanya kerajaan dan saya sendiri, saya pribadi sentiasa bersama dengan kamu. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Wilson Cheng to present the United Nations flag. Please welcome on stage first recipient, Senior Flight Officer 2 Adul Manaf Cik Isa. Sergeant Major Maslan Yusuf. Sergeant Major Zainuddin Arshad. PKJB Muhammad Asri Haji Abdul Hamid. Sergeant Hazim Umar. TBGB Irwan Hassan. Captain Dr. Hafizul Rosli Shari.
Anybody object? So of course I'd like to thank again, I mentioned about pioneers. I have to mention Datuk Tajuddin. We work together in exercises. Okay. Wan Zainal, okay, came on board, very keen. So these were people who made sure this thing happened as well, okay, that the event happened well. Now, I've been asked since the exercise clock started, how am I doing? How is the SMART team progressing? You know, the last time I remember this happened, of course in every IEC people, we come and tell them, we are invisible. Imagine we are not there. We are here to share experiences. But I think the classifiers with the handbook, taking down notes, asking questions, they look like examiners. Betul kan? Giving nightmares to everybody. Okay? So, once and for all, we are going to end it here. Okay? So someone, and within always every morning, afternoon, evening, are we on the way to pass? Yes or no? Just say it. Okay? We are prepared to accept it. Then we won't have this dinner. Okay? So, yes or no? I think the only red, if you say, okay, is on my tie and that of young Bahagia Dato Sri Dr. Charlene Kasim. Both of us are wearing the only red tie, so the red is only on our ties. Okay? So you know the answer. I think I will then like to officially make this statement as per protocol, because I know I'm now on the camera and I don't want Stephen O'Brien, my Under Secretary General, or Ban Ki-moon, if he suddenly sees it, okay, that I'm just making a joke of myself. So I hope the camera is rolling. So on behalf of the United Nations, the Office for the Coordination for Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, Geneva, Insarag Secretariat, I have the pleasure to announce that Malaysia's International Urban Search and Rescue Team, the SMART team, today successfully becomes a globally
Industry. Next, I would like to call Mr. Winston Chang to exchange the flag to our Honorable Minister, Dr. Shweta Jahidat Qasim. Thank you, Mr. Winston, and thank you all. You may now return to your seat. Request from our DG to all our SMART members to be on stage for a group photo, please. Welcome.
When all the work is done, the work is done. A place for everything till everything is in its place. And every setting sun, when the work was done, was a day that didn't go to waste. When all the work is done, it will be done, producing everything for everything to be replaced. And in dirty towns we will settle down and manufacture for the human race. The greatest story that was ever told in the lines of history was the grand designs of other men, and they built those walls for you and me. Don't stop thinking we can start again. Start a riot in the streets, my friend. Oh, they'll stop pulling us apart again. Those idle hands make idle men. Don't stop thinking with your heart again. Those idle hands make idle men. When all the work is done, the work is done. We'll be bionic and beyond the circuits of our minds. We'll get nothing done under electric sun. Leave the way to live far behind. We're the greatest story that was ever told, but we don't know where we're from. And the walls we keep are a memory of the days when all the work becomes. So don't stop thinking we can start again. Start a riot in the streets, my friend. Or they'll stop pulling us apart again. Those idle hands make idle men. Rejoice the day the work is done. Rejoice the day the work is done. Everybody's counting hours. Everybody's counting hours.